Good morning, Darlington County School District stakeholders, employees, students, and community members. Welcome back to another In the Know, where we have a chance to talk about the ongoings in the school district and anything new that has come about over the past month. So you have the latest information up to date. This is our December version, our Christmas holiday version of In the Know. And so we're a little festive today at my desk, and hopefully you are also in that holiday Christmas spirit and having some of those festive items as well at your workplace. The first thing that I would like to talk about is the board meeting that we had this past Monday evening. There were 3 items that were discussed. Probably the most important thing, that there was a slight change to the calendar. So the 2022-23 and 23-24 calendars, we had one slight alteration, and that is we have a week break in October, and that original break was the second week of October, and now we have pushed that back to the first week of October. And the main reason we did that is because we are in line with pretty much most of the PD area school districts now and their calendars. And I think that is great for our employees that may not live in Darlington County and have students that may attend elsewhere. We want to make sure that if we can align, we want to be able to do that. That was an easy fix for us. So that is the only change to the calendars. We're excited about the new calendars. Again, remember, there is a break, a week-long break in October and another week-long break in February to help out through the school year. So we're excited about that. We still finished first semester before the Christmas break, just like our current calendar is. By the way, super excited about that. This is the first time since I've been here that we've been able to finish our first semester before the Christmas break. And our students and teachers don't have to worry about trying to catch everybody back up and get them back in the groove in order to take exams. So we're highly encouraged about the performance that our students are going to have based on having all that knowledge before the break and being able to take their exams. I know they'll do well. The next item that we had at the board meeting was the audit. So our financial audit was completed. This is the typical audit that we have done each year. And I'm happy to say that the Darlington County School District is in very strong financial shape per the audit, but also per how we have been diligent with our finances. And that is all of our schools as well, our finance department. We feel very confident that we are utilizing our taxpayers' dollars in the most efficient way and making sure that they are getting into the schools as well. So again, very strong audit, very strong position that we are in, and we are able to continue doing many of the things that those resources provide the district. So was glad to get that presentation, and I know, again, congratulations, shout out to our finance department. That is a very long process that they go through over the past few months. And we just appreciate their attention to the detail and also just coming out with a very good audit in the results. The next item that was discussed at the board meeting is what is called redistricting. And this is based off of the 2020 census data that was completed. And so the simplest way that I can describe redistricting is rebalancing the 8 districts that we have across the county. And the districts, of course, are represented by board members. So each board member represents a district, and each district has a certain amount of voters that are in that district. And so the redistricting process is making sure that not one district has a lot more voters in it than another district does. So again, it's basically equalizing the districts so they have similar amounts of voters in them. This happens every few years. I think the last census that we had was back in 2010. And so for Darlington County, there was not significant change in our districts. There's a little change in almost every district that we have. So there's little pieces that may have been added on the north end or south end, and then there are some small parts that were taken away and given to another district. And so again, this is just balancing out the voters for those districts that the board members represent. We follow county council with this process and the council members' districts, and there's already been a first reading at the county council. There's been one public hearing. There'll be another public hearing in January, and then there'll be a second reading, and those district maps should be in place. Again, once that's done, we will also have that information available on our website, so if anybody has any questions about what that looks like. Another item that was discussed at the board meeting was our monthly and weekly COVID numbers. Many of you all are seeing in the media that we are having a uptick in COVID cases, but I will say in Darlington County, especially the school district, it's not a huge uptick at this point in time. We are absolutely keeping our eye on what's going on, not only in the county, in our state, but across the globe. But at this point in time, we are waiting on more information as we continue to be cautious and going through the same protocols that we have been to make sure this holiday season everybody stays safe and that everybody stays healthy. So again, just to give you an idea of the numbers for our employee counts over the past week. Last week we had 5 employee positives. We had 5 employee quarantines. And as far as students, we had 22 positive student cases and 92 quarantines last week. And so the employee numbers were not significantly higher. Those are pretty steady over the past 2.5 to 3 months, those counts are on a weekly basis. The student numbers, those have ticked up a little bit. The quarantine numbers were impacted by a couple of basketball teams that were quarantined because of a positive case. So again, we're just keeping our eyes on everything as we work through this. Again, I want to make sure to reiterate over the holidays, please take precautions. If it's your family, that's one thing, but if you are out in crowded spaces or indoors in crowded spaces, as we recommend in the Darlington County School District, in our school buildings, we highly recommend masks be worn in this environment. Vaccines are available for students 5 years and older. Boosters are now available for students 16 years and older. There's lots of information out there from our healthcare providers about how vaccines protect against significant illness from the virus. So again, we just encourage folks to be safe. Try to follow along with those protocols, and please stay healthy. And then to end the board meeting, again, lots of holiday wishes and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So our board members, again, we thank them for their service and we thank them for helping work us through the challenges that we've had over the past half of the school year so far. And again, they just had a lot of holiday wishes for all of our employees, our students, our parents, and our communities. The next thing I'd like to mention is we have a PD, a special PD that is coming up for about 400 of our employees on January 3rd. And so again, at the back to school meeting, we discussed the Orange Frog Initiative a little bit. And everybody that attended had little bags with frogs that were in them and some other assorted items that had the Orange Frog logos on them. And so a lot of people were asking, what exactly is this Orange Frog Initiative and how is this going to affect us this year? And the hopes were actually to have had all of us together so everybody could hear that. But because of our circumstances this school year, we've had to carefully walk through this. And so the next step is there have been 400 total people, so that's 360 district employees from across all of the schools, all of the departments, all of the areas with representation. So for example, at a given school, there are teachers, there are teaching assistants, there are food service workers and custodians and front office personnel. So there's a cross-section of folks that will be participating in this PD. The best way I can describe this is going to be a gift to you on January 3rd for those folks that are participating. The Orange Frog Initiative is truly about building character in our students, building gratitude in our students and our staff, and looking for those positive things that are going on around us, and making sure to accent and focus on those positive things together. But ultimately, our children are the ones that are going to benefit from this. But I can promise you, as adults that are attending this particular PD, you will come away refreshed and energized, especially after a 2-week break. So it's about finding the joy. And as a district, we want to focus on the joy, and we want to focus on the positive. That doesn't mean we don't acknowledge the challenges that we have, but in order to get to where we want to be, we need to be constantly focused on the what is and the good things that are going on. So this is a little bit of SEL as far as social emotional and the impact for our kids and our adults. But again, it's about reaching out into our communities. We're going to be shoulder to shoulder with our faith-based community, with our nonprofits, with our business community. We will all be rolling this out in a way for the Darlington County communities to benefit from this. And of course, our kids will benefit from this greatly as they learn how to give back to their communities, but also how to focus on what's going great for them, to build confidence in them as we work through the school year. So again, if you've been selected, you already know that. You'll be receiving a book and some information about that particular day. We look forward for our ambassadors that are going to be joining us for them to get full of orange and then head back out into their buildings and departments and be able to spread that excitement and joy and energy to their folks as well. So that is the intention, is to get our Orange Frog ambassadors trained up on January 3rd, and then to move that out into the schools. The last thing I'd like to mention is I try to give a shout out at each one of these sessions, and again, the holiday season, acts of giving, random acts of kindness and helping others. I want to give a shout out to Kim Nelson, Captain Kim Nelson, who is our safety and emergency coordinator for the district. She had a great idea of how to help a lot of our families, folks that work in the district, by doing a toy drive. Captain Nelson, in conjunction with the Darlington Police Department and the Darlington County School District, put together this terrific toy drive for many of our employees in the school district. We were able to distribute bags of toys to our district employees' families for their children. And at this time of year, that's really what I want to be able to tell everybody. Our employees have done an incredible job this school year, and I'm so grateful. I know our board is so grateful too. So regardless of what role you serve in this school district, I'm aware of you doing great things, and I'm just so thankful. And so again, I want to be sure that I let you know to get some rest over these next 2 weeks. I hope you spend great time with family and find the joy, find that time of the giving season. Please, focus on those around us that may not have, and maybe find ways to help them have. There's a lot of folks in our communities that are still in a place where they're not able to give as much at this time of year to their families. And so if you see that around you, I encourage you to help them with that. But as I always say, hug on your families. Let them know how much you love them, how much you appreciate them. Please let them know how much I appreciate them for allowing you to be part of this great school district. And again, we'll look forward to seeing each other energized as we come back from the holiday. But please have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon.